What's going on? I'll be Fitness Gaming, and you've seen the title of the video. You know why you're here. Siege Domain. So we're back at... Oh, just need the computer here. We're back at it again with Siege Domain. So for those who've been following the channel, this is one of my go-to domain zoo decks. It's my favorite one to play. I think it's probably the best version that I've come up with so far, as far as enjoying to play it and win percentage overall. So there's a little bit of change here on the mana base. We're going more with the Xander Lounge and the Triome, with the Arid Mesas and the... Where is it? Where is that? Pesky. Windswept. Misty Rainforest. Because we're playing more red sources now. We're playing the Stomping Ground and the Blood Crypt because we have red and white, which is the combination that we get from Xander's Lounge, and the Indatha Triome, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And then we need more red because we have additional red cards in the main. So let's talk about why the card choices. So we have the obvious Ragavan, Wild Nacatl. We're playing 2 brawlers versus playing 4. I wanted to make more room for removal spells like Lightning Helix, so we're playing 2 brawlers. Of course, the 4 Dracos, the 4 Kavus, and of course the 4 Rhinos. We have 4 Leyline Bindings, 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Tribal Flames, 1 Dromoka's Command. Dromoka's Command is just really incredible card. I don't know if you want to play more than 2, to be honest. I saw a list that recently did very well that was playing 3 of them. It's a situational card that can lead to a lot of blowouts, but sometimes it could just be stuck in your hand. That's one of the reasons I removed Stubborn Denial, but we'll talk about that. So we're playing 1 Dromoka's Command, and then we're playing 3 Lightning Helixes. So the deck wants to win by turn 4. As we start progressing through the game, once we start hitting the turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, yada yada yada, that means that our opponent has been able to interact with us, and we start kind of losing our steam. So things like Siege Rhino, because in the other version of Domain Zoo, we don't have anything top end, right? So once we get dragged into those deep waters, we just start drowning because there's no real good top decks. There's nothing that can really swing the game in our favor unless we do something where we land like a Kavu and then Dromoka's Command and get like a 2-for-1, you know, a sick play. But overall, organically drawing into something, it just doesn't happen. Siege Rhino provides a very big threat. It also pretty much Lightning Helix your opponent. In some cases, I think this is better because they lose 3 life, so they cannot prevent it. So it buffs your life total. It has Trample. It's a 4/5. And if you have Scion of Draco in play, it gets Lifelink and Vigilance as well. So it becomes a brutal threat to deal with. Then the added Lightning Helixes is, before I was playing the Stubborn Denials, right? So Stubborn Denial is a great card. That's why we still play it in the 75. I now moved it to the sideboard, how I usually do with these Siege Rhino versions. And the reason is that Stubborn Denial is really good against certain matchups. For example, Cascade matchups and some control matchups, where you're trying to counter certain key spells. But in a lot of matchups, it's just a dead card. It doesn't really do much. And Lightning Helix, on the other hand, is one of those cards that, sure, it may not lead to a blowout like Stubborn Denial can against certain matchups, but it is a solid card against every deck in the format. It doesn't matter what deck you're playing against. Lightning Helix is going to be okay. On top of that, against other aggressive creature decks like Zoo, Burn, Merfolk, things like that, Lightning Helix is very, very good. So, excuse me. So that's why we're playing the Lightning Helix. Another thing that it does as well is that, like I mentioned, we want to try to end the game by turn 4, turn 5, latest turn 6, because then that's when we kind of start drowning. So things like Siege Rhino and Lightning Helix allow us to close the distance with more additional spells. We can hit Planeswalkers, we can go to the face, it can also buff our life total. So it's a very good card, especially in combination with Siege Rhino here. And then, of course, we have our really early fast threats and some cheap interaction to go with that. As for the sideboard, Jegantha, and then we have our counter magic. This is there's no reason not to play counter magic, especially when it's this efficient in this type of deck. When it's a 5-color deck and it's easy to activate Ferocious. So we have 4 Stubborn Denials and Flusterstorm, and then we have 2 Rest in Peace for graveyard strategies. We have Consume All for somewhat graveyard strategies, as well as, you know, Hammer and other decks that kind of flood the board with cheap artifacts and creatures or whatnot. Then we have 2 Wear and Tears, the additional Dromoka's Command, and then we have the 2 Veil of Summers. Discard decks are becoming more popular now, so I think Veil of Summer is a must-have. Notice we're not playing any Teferis. Teferi is good. It's a good card. There's no denying that. I personally, whenever it's time to sideboard, like, I always will bring it in against Cascade decks, but it's kind of like meh, because it's a little slow. I'd rather just bring in the 5 counter spells here, and then kind of like only trim on a couple threats, maybe some Lightning Helixes, and kind of play the game where you land an early threat and protect it and keep them from doing what they're trying to do, rather than tapping out for a Teferi, which they can easily get around most games. So that's my thought process. So this is the sideboard we're playing, and then this is the main deck that we are going to be playing. So let's go ahead and jump into a game here. Let's get the party started. Alright. We're on the play. Jegantha. Alright. This is a decent hand, man. It's a decent. Alright, so we're going to, let's see what we want to do. We're going to keep this. I think we want to go Sacred Foundry. Breeding Pool? No. That's wrong. That's wrong. We have Lightning Helix now. So we want to go Steam Vents, Temple Garden. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Alright. It's important to understand your mana base as you switch it up, because that could have been a disastrous move there for us. Alright. So now we have Lightning Helix and Bolt. If they play a blocker here, we'll definitely Lightning Helix it. Will be nice to get a few hits in with the... It would be nice if we can get a few hits with this Ragavan here. Don't think that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, it might actually. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we're going against Burn. So that's good for us. So we're going to get a Temple Garden here. Actually, we may not even need to crack that right now. Yeah, we're not going to crack that. Unless we hit something that we want to cast here. Let's see. We have a few plays now. Okay, that Bolt. I think what I want to do here now is we're just going to cast Draco. So we're at 13. So we're pretty low already. But we do have Lightning Helix here, and we have a pretty good clock and Lightning Bolt and Leyline Binding for some interaction. Okay, Eidolon, that's fine. That's fine with us. We're just going to get in. So if they attack, we're going to Binding the Eidolon, and then we'll have up Lightning Helix. I don't think we need to fetch right now. There's really nothing that we're trying to cast. And we have Tribal Flames. Could we have killed them that turn? No, right? No. Alright, Searing Blaze. Yeah, that's fine. That's 8. No. Could we have killed them? Guys, can you comment at the bottom and let me know if I could have killed them last turn and I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes you get so you come up with a plan and you get so zoned in that you don't think about this stuff. All right, so they're gone. Yeah, they were just gonna die. I guess it didn't matter. All right, so what do we want to bring in here? Dromoka's command could be decent. I think. I mean, Stubborn Denial could be good. Right? Stubborn Denial could be good. Maybe we're on the draw, so I think we want to go a little leaner. We're going to go leaner here because we are on the draw. If we were on the play, I can see keeping the Siege Rhinos, because the Lightning Helixes can buy us, you know, a couple of turns if we draw into them, depending on what they draw, of course. And then we can, once we start landing Siege Rhino, that's pretty much game over. Okay. It's a good hand here. So we're going to keep. Question is, do we cast Ragavan? Probably not. I don't think we go for Ragavan here. I think we're going to hold this up. They should bolt us here. Yep. If they play something too threatening, we'll... Okay, Swiss Spear. Alright. So what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna bolt this. We're gonna go Steam Vents. They got 3 cards in hand, so that's good for us. We also have Lightning Helix and Stubborn Denial, and we're gonna be able to cast a Kavu here. I don't think they can kill us next turn if we go for Kavu. Alright. So we're going to go for Kavu. It does activate that one card that hits a creature and the player. I forgot the name of it. But it does require a creature to target in order for it to be able to be used. Searing Blaze. Alright. So the plan is here, they have 4 cards in hand. They got a Pain Land, which it helps us a little bit, but they're still at 19. So next turn, we're going to have Stubborn Denial and Lightning Helix up. Alright, so we're okay with that. So now, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to play this. We're going to get in for 5. Discard a land here. Ooh, Binding. That's good. That's a good one. We're going to be able to interact with this Eidolon without taking any damage. Lightning Helix. So we're going to Take the Eidolon here, and then Stubborn Denial, this Lightning Helix. Perfect. Now they're dead. Even if they have a blocker. Okay. Oh, we draw a card. Yeah, so they're dead. We would have, yeah, because we would have, whatever they played there, we would have fetched out a Plains, Lightning Helix, hit them for 5, and then Tribal Flames for 5. That would have been game over. So, as you can see there, so we were able to see the power of Lightning Helix in that matchup. We were also able to see siding in Stubborn Denial. We didn't really have to use our Siege Rhinos here, but like I mentioned, against aggressive decks like that, usually take out your Siege Rhinos and play your counter magics or other cheaper interactive spells. And like I mentioned, like right there on Burn was a perfect example. Like Lightning Helix is such a clutch card because at any point there, like being able to gain 3 and deal 3 or get rid of one of their threats, it pretty much can set them back anywhere from 1 or 2 cards depending on when you play it, which is pretty huge because unless they have the nuts hand and they're on the play, Burn, like they a lot of the times barely kill you, right? They kill you with like 1 card in hand or top decking most of the time, unless they just have a really aggressive, you know, nutty hand. And because we have so much efficient threats here, a lot of their cheap threats like Swiss Spear, Goblin Guide, they don't really do much because we're able to stop them early on. And then things like Leyline Binding, as you saw there, because it's able to get around the Eidolon, is a big deal. I will say that the opponent was casting spells before attacking. As a Burn, I've played Burn before, and you want to attack most times first so that the opponent then interacts. That way, if they do get rid of your Eidolon, then you could play your spells without taking any damage. Opponent would have played it, I think there was a couple of turns where they had a spell first and then tried to attack. They would have, you know, preserved their life total, and for example, like we would have probably still killed them that following turn, but if they did have a blocker, they would have probably been, I think, at 11, let's just say, if they would have taken 1 from that, so they would have been just at 1, which we would have gained 3, we would have been at 10. I don't think there's a way they can deal 10 damage, but you still want to play to all your outs. But anyways, my friends, if you guys saw any misplays, comment at the bottom, let me know. Like I mentioned, this is my go-to domain, zoo deck, Siege domain. It's the list that I really enjoy playing. It's the one that I find like the most consistent. This is it. This is what I like to play, my friends. Anyways, any questions, comment at the bottom. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit that notification button. I post daily. Alright? And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And peace out. Oh yeah, and play Siege Rhino.